we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burnin' Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Tuesday. Coming to you a day late and probably several doll hairs short, but it is what it is. I had a little case of writer's block. Well, anyhow, it happens from time to time. But before we get into the episode, I'll tell you all about the writer's block here in a minute. But I wanted to bring some attention to a certain benefit that we've got going on. I think y'all know, if you remember, Casey Howell. He's been on the podcast a couple times. He's one of the range riders up in he was up in Wyoming, but he had a pretty bad horse wreck the other day, and had to, from what I understand, he had to be put in a medically induced coma. And anyway, he's tough as hell, so I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, it was a pretty rough deal. But we're doing a benefit ranch rodeo. I'm not sure exactly who all is. I know there's a gal named Brittany that messaged me about this, and there's a couple other people that are putting this together. But anyway, it's a benefit ranch rodeo. It'll be in Kiowa, Colorado on March 27th. It'll be a scramble format. Got a doctor and a Penn and a Brandon and a trailer loading. 4-man teams. $100 a man. A Denver taco truck will be there. Looks like, hey, 310 Ranch Life is on as a sponsor as well. Murdoch's. There's a bunch of people. There's a really cool silent auction that they're putting on. All the proceeds will go towards Casey and his and his family, doctor bills and all that stuff that just to help him out. He's Casey's cowboy to the core, so he. Money didn't mean a whole lot to a guy like that until you kind of need some, and so I'm sure those doctor bills are not going to be cheap. So let's help raise a little bit of money for him. So a little message here: please join us in supporting an amazing man, Casey Howell. It'll be a fun filled day with something for everyone: delicious food trucks, exciting prizes, and an amazing silent auction full of great gifts from our supporting community and sponsors. So. It's going to be a really good deal. So, like I said, we got the ranch rodeo, and then there's horseback games. I got pole bending and barrel racing, $20 a class entry fee, 9 o'clock start, 10 and under, 10 to 15, 15 to 19, and 19 and over, all in those classes. Let's see, prizes awarded through third place in each age group. So, anyway, you can find all this information and more on Facebook. It's on Wildfire Ranch Rodeo on Facebook, on Wildfire Ranch Rodeo. I'll make sure to put a link to it in the show notes for today. So make sure you go check that out. I know there's a GoFundMe as well. I'll make sure to get all that information and share it around. And so it's like I said, Casey's a really good dude. He's a friend of the show. He's listened for quite a while now and been on a couple times himself. And it's a rough deal. So let's help him get it back on his feet. And anyhow, just a little bit of housekeeping up front. But anyhow, I was I was sitting here at this very desk last night. I normally record Sunday evening, and I was riding pins Sunday morning, afternoon, and I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about, and I was just kind of drawing a blank. They're just the entire news feed, social media, just everything is focused on this Ukraine-Russia deal and the threat of World War III and all that good shit. And it's one of those deals that's awfully important to pay attention to and sometimes talk about, but it's one of those things that just becomes a little overwhelming after a while. It's just like nothing, but it's like the early days of of COVID when it was just nonstop updates, and it's the same way it is now with Ukraine. And so I didn't really want to talk about that much. Kind of wanted to save that till we got into fence post politics. And so I was just kind of started listening to some music, and then I was doing some research, and then it was funny. I was telling my wife I started watching this movie the other night when I was waiting on. I was doing some editing, and I was waiting on the video file to render so I could upload it to YouTube, and that takes a little while. We've got a pretty fast computer, and now hopefully tomorrow, I'll have fast internet out in my studio. I've got fast internet at my house now. I got the Starlink, and I know I've said that before, but still waiting. I got to tell you, very mixed reviews on the Starlink right now. As far as the service, the internet service itself, it's awesome, really fast. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably faster internet out there, but as far as rural America goes, it's pretty damn fast. And so it's all at my house now. But however, Starlink comes with its own router, and the cords that plug in from the satellite dish to the router looks like an oversized micro USB plug, not like your traditional USB plug, but like the old like Samsung phone charger. That's what it kind of looks like, but bigger, but it's that same shape. And but the router itself does not have a place to plug any Ethernet cables into, which is a tad bit of a problem because that's how I beam the internet from my house out to my studio. So they make an adapter so that you can plug in Ethernet before the cord plugs into the router. But they've sent me 2 of them now, and neither one of them have worked. And this is where it's kind of an issue. Like they're like really ramping up production, so the first satellite that they sent me was defective, and now 2 Ethernet adapters are defective. So like they're spitting shit out at a record pace, but the the quality of it seems to maybe not be all that maybe a little rough patch. I don't know. And now they're like sending Starlink units over to Ukraine so that they can have internet in Ukraine, which is kind of cool. But also I take that to mean that my next Ethernet adapter will be delayed, and that's all well and good. You know, power to Ukraine and all that. So. Oh, All right. So anyhow, all that being said, I do not have internet out in my studio yet, and I'm waiting on another adapter that I think should work. I'm hoping so, and then I'll be good as gold, baby. I'll be running fast, and then I can have writer's block, but do it with fast internet in my studio. But anyway, I was watching this movie on Netflix. It was a Oscar nominee movie for this year. It was called The Power of the Dog. And I do not recommend this movie. I cannot stress to you enough that I do not recommend this movie. It's not a good movie. And there's nothing particularly bad about it except the movie itself. Like, there's nothing terribly offensive. It's just not a good movie. And so anyway, it was like a Western type movie, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Somebody's making a modern, or a Western in the modern day, but it was kind of a set around, I'm guessing around 1920s, 30s, somewhere in there, 40s maybe. There's cars and stuff, but it's set up in Montana. And there's these two brothers. They're driving cattle into the railhead, and then they go eat at a big or at like the local boarding house restaurant type place, and it's ran by this lady, Kirsten Dunst. And Kirsten Dunst was a bigger part of why I watched as much of the movie as I did, because there was several years back she showed her boobs in a movie, and they were nice. So I thought maybe if that's going to happen again, I'll sit through this shitty movie a little bit longer. But then you get to a point in the movie where it's past the tipping point. If they haven't showed tits up to that point, they're not going to, and that's probably right about when I shut this off, because it was just boring and awkward and like tense. Like you just felt tense, just like on edge, but not just awkward. Just felt awkward. It was not a good movie. And then it's about these two brothers. They're running this big ranch, and one of them went off to college and kind of a fancy boy, and the other one's running the ranch and doing the cowboy work and the ranch stuff. And then they go eat at this boarding house, and Kirsten Dunst is the owner, and she's got this son who's, I don't know, high school age, and he's like tall, skinny, and weird, and kind of autistic, and just kind of awkward. And then the brother that runs the ranch, like does the day-to-day stuff, kind of starts picking on this kid while they're eating in this restaurant. And then like the other brother is kind of in love with this chick, and she's a widow woman, and then he marries her, moves her out to the ranch, and then they send her kid off to boarding school, but he has to come back over Christmas break or something, or maybe a summer break, I forget. And and there's like tension between like the whole movie's just like passive aggressive tension, and then it seems like they were like the brother that's mean to the boy and the boy are probably going to turn out to be gay, and and then we're like 3/4 of the way into the movie, and Kirsten Dunst hasn't shown her boobs, and so I'm pretty certain that she didn't in that last 25% of the movie, and at that point there was no need for me to watch any further, so I turned it off, and I felt a little bit used and disgusted, and just kind of tense that I had wasted an hour and a half of my time that I'll never get back. And I was I was very intrigued as to see what Kirsten Dunst's boobs would look like, because they had her like with an old looking face. They had the makeup job where she had some serious wrinkles in her face. Just a life of hard living. And so I was wondering if they were gonna be able to recreate that on her boobs too, or if she was gonna be looking all young and nubile with a weather beaten face. And I was honestly curious, and I was willing to sit through this utter nonsense of a movie long enough to see if it would happen. And then when it became apparent that it wasn't going to happen, yeah, that's, like I said, that's when I stopped watching. And I have no problem with the gay people out there, the alternative lifestyles, or what the fuck ever. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. I just don't really care. But there's times, and it's happening with even greater occurrence here lately, that there has to be like a gay couple in everything, or there has to be some sort of gay underlying theme in just about everything, and it's just unnecessary. I the diversity argument, whatever. I kind of I can see where you're coming from there, but at some point, like, it becomes unnecessary. As the kids say, it's just extra, and we could go ahead and stop with all that, but then they don't stop with her. They don't like pull back. They just they double down, and it's really, it's like an evolving religion. Like they're just making shit up as they go, but now like they're redoing. They're gonna do a live action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or they were. I don't know. Maybe it got canceled because they were gonna use actual dwarves, or little people, or midgets, or pygmies, or whatever the preferred nomenclature is nowadays. I don't really know, nor do I care. You know what I'm talking about. And so they were going to have 7 midgets playing the 7 dwarves. And Peter Dinklage, who is the midget from Game of Thrones and Elf, and you know who he is. He took offense to that, I guess, because I'm not sure why exactly. But they it was kind of cool that they're going to get actual dwarves to play the dwarves, and instead of doing normal sized people and using CGI to shrink them down to dwarf size, they were going to hire dwarfs. Seemed like a good idea, but now like they do that with everything. Like you have to be gay if you're playing a gay person in a movie. It kind of cuts into the whole acting thing, like where you're pretending to be somebody that you're not. But I wonder how far they took that. I mean, it was like, so this movie, The Power of the Dog, which apparently was I did do a little bit of Googling on this particular movie after I turned it off, because I was like, maybe I'm just like paranoid that, or not really paranoid, but just like looking for how they're trying to push the gay stuff, because they're like, it's pretty funny sometimes, the lengths that they'll go to push the gay or trans or whatever woke narrative, and it sometimes has, I mean, it's very funny the way it's done. So I look for that kind of deal. And so I looked it up, and I guess there's the guy that wrote it's based on a book, and the guy that wrote the book might have been gay, maybe, or it was like I guess kind of a well-known, like there was gay themes throughout the book. It was wrote in the 60s or 70s, something like that. I don't know. It was anyway. My suspicions were right, and so then it made me wonder, like, are those two actually gay? And it was nominated for an Oscar. I don't know like what for, if it was like Best Picture or whatever. And I've stopped paying attention to the Oscars because I don't care. And here lately they've tended not to be any movies that I'd care to watch that have made the list. They're just like obscure and weird movies that always get nominated for the best picture or whatever. So I haven't paid much attention, and so I don't know if this was nominated for best picture or whatever. But like I don't get it. It just was not. It reminded me of it was like Brokeback Mountain, which I actually haven't watched, so I don't know if it's actually like that. But it seems along those lines, gay cowboys, and then that was like Manchester by the Sea. I don't know if anybody ever saw that movie. It was also an Oscar winner, and me and my wife watched it. And I think we finished the whole movie, and we just like kept waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever happened. And that reminded me a lot, or this movie reminded me a lot of that. This Power of the Dog movie. It's just like tension keeps building, but nothing ever happens. So you just get more tense, waiting for anything to happen, anything at all. And it just keeps building tension. And then I don't know, maybe I should have watched it to the end, but I'm not going to. And maybe it is like a really cool ending, but I would bet not. And it's just So I wondered if like these two guys were actually gay, if the one kid was like actually autistic, if they were holding true to this this like woke doctrine. And I don't know, and I wonder how long that, or how far you go with that whole deal where you have to have gay people play gay people, and like nobody can stray outside of their race. Like there's a point where blackface was considered not cool. That's actually really offensive. We should probably stop doing that. And that stuff like that, probably a good thing. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Gonna make a controversial statement here and say that the fact that blackface is kind of looked down upon as an offensive way of expressing yourself. I think that's probably a good thing. But like, how far do you take that extreme? Where, okay, so a white guy can't paint his face black and play, a black guy. That's okay. I don't think it should be a law against it. But also I think that's probably a good idea. Let's not. Why don't we just get a black guy to play a black guy, because that would make more sense, or. Yeah, I could see how if you want to have a gay guy play a gay guy, or a lesbian play a lesbian, that's all well and good. But I forget who it was. Some like big actress that got in trouble for playing a trans person in a movie, or she was going to, and then she got lit up on Twitter by probably like 7 people, but they were really nasty about it, and then she apologized. I don't remember if she still did the movie or not, but the whole argument was like she couldn't do it because she wasn't trans, and like back to the acting portion of it, like that's kind of part of it, right? Is it's acting. Like, you don't have to be trans to play a trans character in a movie. That's where the acting part comes in, right? And the makeup and the wardrobe and all the stuff that goes into making a character. But like, you have to act like them, otherwise it's not believable. You know, I mean, like that's. I digress. But like, let's say, I don't know, and like they just keep throwing shit like this movie out there where it's a weird, awkward movie, and I'm sure it has like high critically acclaimed, high praise from all the Rotten Tomatoes critics and the Siskel's and Eberts of the world, and all those, the big muckety mucks, I'm sure give it high praise. But like your average Joe and Jill, isn't that funny how like Joe and Jill are like the generic names for white people, and the president and first lady are just generic white bread people, and that's kind of funny. Joe and Jill. But anyway, like your average person probably not gonna care for that movie. Just going out on a limb here and gonna say they're probably not. Maybe, could be wrong, but I would bet that they're not all that. Like they're probably not all that impressed. And but there's that, and then there's like Marvel stuff, and then remakes. They just like started remaking shit. Like they remake. We were talking about I mentioned it the other day where they're remaking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a drama. I don't know. Might be good. Might suck. Probably gonna suck. I don't know. Am I gonna watch it? Probably not. But then I guess they redid the Wonder Years with the black people as the main characters instead of white people, and I wonder if it's gonna be just as white of a show. Like the characters act just as white, but they're all just black now, and so they're just like your average American white family, but with more melanin, and so like all the white liberals can watch it and feel so good at how they've rescued these black people from poverty or something. And I would bet that almost no black people watch it. Gonna go out on a limb there. But anyway, like, let's say they wanted to remake Harry and the Hendersons. And now, do you have to actually go out and find a real Squatch to play the Squatch? Do you got to go out on the quest for Bigfoot now? And you actually have to go find this Bigfoot, gain his trust, recruit him to play himself in a movie. I mean, that in and of itself, should you be able to do that, I mean, you don't ever have to worry about working again in your life. That movie will break all the box office records, because if you have an actual Sasquatch starring in your movie about Sasquatches, and it's a remake of a popular kind of a cult classic 80s movie, son of a bitch. I mean, that is, goddamn, that is a gold mine. So, like, is that why Harry and the Hendersons isn't being remade? Is because they haven't found a literal Squatch yet? I mean, that could be. But think about that. Like, you that's what it takes to to find out if Bigfoot's real is people want Harry and the Hendersons remade, and let's pretend for a minute that Sasquatch exists and he doesn't have alien technology. Let's put the science Squatch thing aside. I know, it's going to be a tough one to do. Seeing how we live in reality here, and we all know that Science Squatch does in fact exist, but let's pretend for a minute that he don't. It would just have a regular Squatch. How do you communicate with these creatures? How do you recruit them? Like, are they interested in money, or can you like pay them in like old sides of beef? Like can you pay them in clamshells or something? That's something you have to figure out. And then, like, do we? Because, like I said before, that's going to be a huge hit. So you got to convince him for at least a 3-movie deal. It doesn't have to be just Harry and the Hendersons over and over again. It could get his own spinoff where it's just Harry and fuck the Hendersons. Just it's Harry and his family of Squatches. And since, as we know, that the Sasquatch they're just like people, only a little bit different, and we know things about people, and if the Sasquatches are just like people, only different, then we can surmise that, as we know that gay people exist, then we can surmise that gay Squatch exist. So now, do we have to go and find a gay Squatch? Like, is that something that you got to do if there's going to be like internal like family turmoil between father and son, and like the father Squatch doesn't really accept the fact that his son Squatch is gay. And you have to play that out on film, and so you have to actually go find a gay Squatch, and then like what's that interview process looks like. And then the whole time, some preacher in Mississippi is like, back in my day, I remember when God made an Adam Squatch and an Eve Squatch, and it was Adam Squatch and Eve Squatch, not Adam Squatch and Steve Squatch. And may God smite thee down for sullying the good name of the Sasquatch and God Himself. And but you're trying to find this gay Squatch, and you're trying to get him to come out of his shell so that you can continue this storyline and get this butting of heads, from one generation to the next, because stupid old dad Squatch just doesn't get it. And so, like, I can imagine that should you encounter a Squatch in the wild, and not like these videos that you see, but like an actual encounter, and like I would imagine this thing's going to be pretty aggressive, and imagine not only is he aggressive, but he's homosexual too. So like you're out there with your hunting gear, and then this this just wild gay Squatch just all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'll fuck you, hunter. And then he's like 10 foot tall, so 3 strides he's on you, and then what do you do now? I mean, that's I don't know. So like I think because of all these issues that I've laid out, that's probably why Harry and the Hendersons has not been remade. Because it just, with today's woke standards, like it just can't be done. It physically cannot be done, because we cannot act like a Squatch exists and within the safety of filmmaking, and just have somebody dress up in a costume of a Sasquatch. We can't do that, because that would be that'd be taken away from the marginalized community of the actual Sasquatch, and that we can't have that. So we're gonna remake Harry and the Hendersons. We gotta find Squatch first, and then it's a whole deal, and it's not feasible right now. It's not feasible, but one of these days, and yeah. Huh. So I guess long story short, I do not recommend the Power of the Dog. Terrible movie. But on the brighter side of entertainment, this was a story that popped up the other day. So I'll put it up on the screen if you're for those of you on YouTube, but audio listeners, you can go find it on YouTube as well. But this from Business Insider. Disney is building a planned community of condos, houses, and estates in California. See what it's like to live there. Disney is building planned communities with estates, single-family homes, and condominiums. The first community will be located in Rancho Mirage, California, about a 2-hour drive from Disneyland. The neighborhood will have an oasis with a beach park, nearby dining and entertainment, and a hotel. Disney mega fans, now is your chance to live and breathe Disney under the warm California sun. My goodness. When was this? So this was the 17th. So about a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, on Tuesday, Disney announced its latest venture, Story Living by Disney, a series of planned communities with estates, single-family homes, and condominiums, all with the Disney flair. The first community, named Cotino, would be built in Rancho Mirage, California, in the Coachella Valley, about a 2-hour drive from Disneyland. The entertainment powerhouse is now working with DMV Development, which specializes in large planned communities, to create Cotino. If you're wondering what life in a Disney neighborhood will be like, just picture an energetic community with the warmth and charm of a small town and beauty of a resort. Helena Pack, Senior Vice President with Disney Parks Experiences and Products, said in a promotional video. The community will have a section built just for residents who are 55 years old and older, and the neighborhood will have the recognizable Disney charm that its fans come to love, like Disney cast members. Residents also have the option for club membership that will include programs like live show, cooking classes, and wellness activities. In true California desert fashion, Cotino will have an oasis body of water that will sit in the center of the development. The membership will include access to Cotino's clubhouse, beach, and water activities, although some of these can be accessed via day pass instead. There'll be nearby leisure and entertainment options like dining, shopping, and a beachfront hotel, making the neighborhood feel like a full community. So, there will be plenty of women that will, you all know some of those Disney freaks that will start saving all their pennies to go live in Cotino. And just imagine, like, your HOA is run by fucking Mickey Mouse. Like, your landlord is fucking goofy. But I don't hate it. I mean, I would hate it if I lived there. I would never live there. But if there was, for some reason, I had no choice but to live there, I would hate it. But it's not a bad idea. There are some psychos that really, really love Disney, and they will eat that shit up. I think with the advent and the popularity of Yellowstone, us here in the cowboy community could take a page out of Disney's book, and we can just glom on to all this popularity that we've got since Yellowstone is still hot, and people like to dress like cowboys. Like, we could do planned cowboy communities, gated planned cowboy communities. But like with good gates, like well built, 4-strand wire gates for this community, and rather than having condominiums, it'll just be the foreman's house, and then a row of single wides. Most of them will have a dog run outside as well. Flatbeds, as far as the eye could see, only about a third of them run. There'll be a line of catch trailers and just your random assortment of trailers and pickups and flatbeds, and you can live there, and you'll get the full ranch wife experience. You'll be expected to cook and clean and wait up for us as we come in late, and that'll be, and you'll pay for that experience, and it'll be really good. You'll be able to drive us back from the bar, and it'll be a grand old time, and we'll make money, and you'll get to live out your Yellowstone fantasies. It's it is a win-win-win. We're going to bring economic development at our own pace back to these rural areas. Maybe not even back to, but like for the first time have some economic development. Say for a place like Gerlach, Nevada, put yourself in one of these gated cowboy communities, and now you could have like 10 more people that live up there, and your cowboy crews will have a clean house and a warm meal, and all these yuppies will get the full ranch wife experience, and it'll bring in more money into the community, and you'll make some dreams come true, and it'll be a perfect scenario for some of these small towns that are just barely hanging on. Just a boost of economic vigor, all because we learned from the ways of Disney that if we can just glom onto some stupid shit that people like, we can really make some money out of it. And you don't have to be a full-time dude ranch. See, dude ranch is like as a getaway, but this is for people that like are really crazy enough to want to live this shit, and they've got money and they're willing to pay for it. It seems 100% exploitable, if we're being honest, and I don't know why we haven't done it yet. So that's my homework for you in the following weeks: is how do we plan one of the Burnin Daylight gated cowboy community? I don't want to run it. I mean, that seems like a lot of work, but I'll put my name on it if it's a good time. So anyway, I think that might be the solution to small town America, rural America. This might provide the economic boost, and if these people are paying to live there for the full Western experience, we don't have to sugarcoat it for them. They want the real deal. We'll give them the real fucking deal. So if they don't make it, that's fine. They can leave. Cowboying's cool now, so there'll be a line of people waiting. You can take that to the bank. So, anyways, that's your homework. How do we make this thing work, and we can make some real fucking money? Okay. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Sorry about the delay, the writer's block. But it was well worth the wait, as you can tell, because I believe this episode is a masterpiece. So, anyways, make sure you go check out the Facebook page for Casey Howell if you're in the area. March 27th, Kiowa, Colorado. Let me find that again. It's It's at the Messer Arena and Event Center there in Kiowa. It's at 33955 County Road 37 there in Kiowa, Colorado. So that's March 27th. The horseback games start at 9. 4-man Ranch Rodeo Scramble to follow after that. It starts at 1 o'clock. So to pre-register, text 303-901-3740 to pre-register. $100 a man, 4-man team. So let's help a guy out. Let's raise some money, and y'all stay safe out there. Now move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.